coming in there as far as Waqf is concerned. There is some relief, at least temporarily.
Good afternoon, Shweta. So we spoke to some of the petitioners before they went in for the hearing today, and amongst them was Amanatullah Khan. Now he had pointed out some of the things that happened in the court yesterday. There was also the question. So in several cases, the petitioners, people who were challenging the act, felt relieved by yesterday's proceedings. Today was the side of the government, particularly the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, to have his hearing. He had started, and you know, one of the things that he pointed out, that this was a rarity where the court was considering a stay directly or indirectly at such an early time. However, this hearing in itself was rather brief. The court took cognizance of his answers, and later the court has actually deferred and said that the government has been given 7 days to file its reply. So in 7 days we'll be seeing another hearing wherein the government and particularly Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, the representatives of the 5 BJP ruled states, they will have their say in the court. At that point they will be answering several questions. For instance, yesterday the court actually pointed out the controversy around the appointment of non-Muslim members to the Waqf committee and boards. At that point, a question was raised: would non-Hindus be allotted seats in boards for Hindu endowments and institutions? So now, in the next 7 days, the Government of India, the Centre, and Solicitor General Mehta will be filing in their replies, and we are going to see how the case progresses.
All right, we are going to see how the case progresses, but substantial progress there at least made today. My colleague Brijesh Pandey joining us live in the studio. Brijesh, CJI stating very categorically 7 days time given to the centre to reply on the matter, but for now any property declared as Waqf will remain Waqf.
Well, I think it's a kind of an interim stay, if you want to look at it this way, that the government has got 7 days, but no new decision can be taken, or the Waqf Act, which has been passed by both houses of parliament and has become an act, so that Amendment Act will not be put into function because as per the Supreme Court, they are saying that, you know, that 3 points which they have raised yesterday, and that kind of rattled the government in a big way. You know, the 3 points were about, you know, that key aspects of Waqf which they sought clarification from the government, and today they came up with the government came up with a solution that, you know, give us a week's time, we will get back to you. But the way Chief Justice of India questioned the government, you know, it looks that it's not going to be a very happy ending as far as Waqf Act is concerned. I think the government will have to make certain changes, or they have to come up with absolute as far as those situation is concerned. One of the key issue which was raised by yesterday was also by, you know, when the Supreme Court asked that is there a make appointment of 2 non-Muslim members,
the ex-officio members,
ex-officio member of the Waqf committee. So the court asked that do you do that, or can you tell us about you know, whether in any Hindu such situation, the counter situation, are there non-Hindus which are being the ex-officio member of that? So there are several you know, Waqf by use, this and the power of the collector.
Let me also quickly talk about Waqf by user, because there's also in a statement coming in there from Supreme Court right now suggesting there's going to be no change in Waqf by user. That was one of the points that was also discussed yesterday when Kapil Sibal, as a matter of fact, took it up in the court.
Well, absolutely, and I think, you know, a Waqf by law is something, a Waqf by user is something which you know, the Supreme Court is saying that it will become very, very difficult for the government to implement, and become very difficult for the Muslim community also, you know, to produce documents which gives you the ownership. Apart from that, he said that I agree that not all the situation is bad, but when it comes to this particular situation, not all situation is bad either. So it's, you know, it's an argument which cut both ways, and that is the reason why they raised this Waqf by user, non-Muslim on Waqf boards, and also the power of the collector. You know, if he is the determining authority about, you know, which land becomes Waqf and which doesn't, then you are also caught in a, you know, years of litigation, countering it in the lower court, then go to higher court, and then go to Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court yesterday sought clarification on these 3 points, and I think you know, right now the status quo maintains. So there's going to be no formation of Waqf board. There's going to be no new board per se, as per the new act which has been passed. and I think it all depends on when the government of India, what kind of reply the government of India gets. They have got 7 days, so I think another 4-5 days, 5-6 days, we may say a reply by the government of India about what they exactly feel about the concerns which the Supreme Court has raised.
All right, early gains at least for the petitioners, if that's the correct way to put it. For the next 7 days, status quo remains. Waqf cannot be implemented in letter and spirit. It is anyway sub judice.
Absolutely. I would say that if you look at the entire gig, the way it has played out till now, one thing is very clear, that the court had raised the objection, and primarily also the major objection by the opposition, which was the Kapil Sibal and others, the number of petitions which have been filed before the apex court. They said that Waqf by use, non-Muslims on Waqf board, and power of the collector. These are the 3 contentious issues they have raised, and now the government has sought time. The government tried to clarify yesterday, represented by Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, and now the government has sought 1 week's time, and they are trying to come up with all kinds, because nobody would want the act to be stayed. The Chief Justice of India, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, also said yesterday that usually we don't stay the act in the initial hearing and all, but there are 3 issues which are very egregious, and we would like to seek a response. And one of the key contention was Waqf by user, and he said that yes, I agree.
And let's also explain what is Waqf by user for the benefit of our audience. Essentially a land that has been used for religious purposes
Basically,
over years.
Waqf by user is a land which has been used for Muslim religious or charitable purposes
for years now.
For a long period of time.
Right.
It is deemed to be Waqf even if it was not registered.
Absolutely.
And they said that this could potentially raise questions on the status of several such Waqf properties. So it is going to be, as Kapil Sibal said, that with one stroke of pen, you can be depriving 4 lakh, change the fortune of 4 lakh.
Just to simplify, it's like a mandir, Brijesh. Let me put it this way. Let's say there is a chauraha where there is a mandir, and that's been a mandir for a very long time, and suddenly one fine day somebody says that this land belongs to us. There's going to be problem. There's going to be problem from Hindu society, because that land has been used traditionally for years for that religion.
See, there's a slight difference there. As yesterday said that, it is very difficult to register, which is Waqf by land, Waqf by use, the Chief Justice said. But he also said that it is not always that, it is the correct way. There's not 100-0 kind of a scenario which exists both ways. Hindus, when you talk of temples and all, the temple cannot lay claim on a land by saying that this belongs to a temple. There's a piece of land, the temple cannot say that, oh, this land is of temple until unless the temple presents certain documents which proves that, yes, the land belongs to temple. The situation is not there. See, the main concern is that right now, there have been several cases when the claim of Waqf was made, in Taj Mahal claim of Waqf was made, there were several high profile properties on which the claim of Waqf was made. So it's not 100-0 kind of a scenario. But what the Supreme Court is trying to say is that when you say that Waqf by user and you annul it completely, then even if you say your 30% or 40% for argument's sake is genuine and 60% is not genuine, then those 40% is a very, very percentage of number, and that is the reason why they say that you have to quantify it. And second is who adjudicates. That is the bigger question.
So who's the adjudicating authority?
On the authority that this land is Waqf and this land is not Waqf. So the power of collector also comes under scrutiny, and I think that is also one very, very key issue which the petitioners had put before the Supreme Court, and that acknowledged all 3. The inclusion of the court asked that, can you tell us about temple trusts and all in which non-Hindus or person not belonging to that particular caste are the ex officio members. So the government, the SG said that, no, I can't give you an example just like that. But it clearly shows that there won't be too many. Otherwise, the government, and to expect that the Solicitor General not knowing about it is
not having an answer.
Not having an answer to that. So I think 1 week time, the government gets a 1 week breather to go about it. Formulate their strategy, appear before the Chief Justice, try to convince them. But yes, I think the government has to come up with explanation on all these 3. Until then, the interim stay kind of a situation that the new thing doesn't get into effect.
All right. So interim stay till the time center response. It has been given now 7 days time to respond. We do have some reactions we've got from Supreme Court. Let's quickly listen in.
See, I don't want to predict what Supreme Court is going to pass an order about, but I would say that unless this entire 2025 Act is stayed in toto, no relief is going to be enough to stop the mischief for which this Act has been brought. That is my understanding as a student of Waqf law. I am against that Act. it is an act which is been enacted solely to usurp all the Waqf lands by hook or crook. There is no other motive of this new act. That is what my opinion is.
Sir, are you also representing any client in the Waqf petition?
Not yet, because I think the time is not ripe. I think
अपॉइंटमेंट बल्कि उन्होंने स्टे नहीं किया है। जो भारत सरकार के सॉलिसिटर जनरल है उन्होंने अपना स्टेटमेंट दिया है कि अगली तारीख तक न तो काउंसिल में न वक्फ बोर्ड में कोई अपॉइंटमेंट जो संशोधित कानून है उसके अनुसार किया जाएगा। दूसरा बात उन्होंने जो माननीय अदालत ने कहा कि जो वक्फ व यूजर है जो रजिस्टर्ड हैं और गैजेटेड हैं उसको गवर्नमेंट डी नोटिफाई नहीं करेगी टिल द नेक्स्ट डेट। तो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि जो रजिस्टर्ड एंड गैजेटेड हैं वही सिर्फ डी नोटिफाई नहीं होंगे, उसके अलावा संशोधन के हिसाब से सरकार कार्रवाई करने को स्वतंत्र है और जो संशोधित कानून है उस पर किसी भी तरह का अंतरिम आदेश नहीं है और अगली तारीख तक भारत सरकार को अपना जवाब और उनको जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स देने हैं वो देने होंगे और उसके बाद उनको रिज्वाइंडर का जो पेटिशनर्स है उनको मौका दिया गया है। साथ ही साथ जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स हैं वो भी अपना रिस्पॉन्स देंगे और ये कहा गया है कि अगली तारीख पर सुनवाई इस पूरे मामले की जारी होगी। तो माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय को जो रेस्पोंडेंट्स यानी कि भारत सरकार ने कहा कि हम डे टू डे सुनवाई के लिए तैयार हैं। आप पूरे मामले को, चूंकि ये पार्लियामेंट का कानून है, पार्लियामेंट के कानून को आप इस तरह से स्टे नहीं कर सकते हैं और माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने सॉलिसिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया के बात को माना है और उन्होंने संशोधन को स्टे नहीं किया है। सिर्फ उन्होंने उनके 2 पॉइंट पे सॉलिसिटर जनरल के बात को रिकॉर्ड पे लेकर के और अगली तारीख 5 मई मुकर्रर कर दिया है और 5 मई से इस मामले की सुनवाई शुरू हो जाएगी।
सर, यथास्थिति की बात कही गई, यथास्थिति को कैसे लिया जाए?
नहीं, यथास्थिति मैंने आपको बताया कि 2 मुद्दों पर कि जो काउंसिल में और बोर्ड में अपॉइंटमेंट का जो मामला है वो अगली तारीख तक जो स्टेटमेंट सॉलिसिटर जनरल ने दिया है कि कोई अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं होगा और दूसरा जो है वक्फ व यूजर, तो माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने अपने आदेश में लिखा है कि जो रजिस्टर्ड हैं और गैजेटेड हैं उसको गवर्नमेंट डी नोटिफाई नहीं करेगी अगले आदेश तक।
सर आपको तो इसमें क्लियर है सर, वक्फ बाय यूजर को डी नोटिफाई नहीं करेगी ना, मतलब
नहीं, वक्फ बाय नहीं, सिर्फ वही जो रजिस्टर्ड एंड गैजेटेड हैं।
सर ये कोर्ट
हाँ बिल्कुल, ये ऑर्डर शीट में है। जो रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है, जो गैजेटेड नहीं है, उसको सरकार संशोधन कानून के हिसाब से डी नोटिफाई कर सकती है।
सर आप किसके लिए अपीयर हुए थे? नाम
हिंदू सेना और हिंदू महासभा 2 हमारे एप्लीकेंट्स थे, उनकी तरफ से मैं संशोधन के समर्थन में हाजिर हुआ।
नाम बता दीजिए।
वरुण कुमार सिन्हा, विष्णु गुप्ता के लिए और एक पवन अग्रवाल है उनके लिए, सतीश अग्रवाल। नहीं, आज की सुनवाई पूरी हो गई, अगली तारीख 5 मई की मुकर्रर हुई है। धन्यवाद।
Those are the reactions coming in on that big story. Waqf Amendment Act, sort of an interim stay. The government there saying we will just not implement it yet. Has been given 7 days time to file its own reply in the matter. Joining us is Sanjay Chadha, Advocate, Supreme Court of India. Sanjay Chadha, what are you making of the developments in the court today? 3 clauses of the bill, of the act. You know, the pleas were challenging and all those have been taken noted by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said we will of course wait for the government to reply within the 7 days time.
3-4 big points which I feel today are important. 3-4 points are important. One, as you said, the registered and notified Waqf users, Waqf by use, will not be touched. The government will not take any action against them. That is one. Bigger thing, there will be no appointment as per the new act in the coming future till the next date of hearing, which is 5th of May. Then, as per, what happens is, it is as specific stay is not given, but the statement of learned Solicitor General is recorded. That is equal to the stay, I must say so. Equal to, because no further action will be there. I'm saying it with all responsibility. It is a journal practice. Once a statement is given, that is taken at the face value, that is taken equally, it is equally good as if there is a stay. So, these 3-4 points are very important. And third, the last very important point, which is there the government has also proposed that we should have a day-to-day hearing in this matter so that ASAP, as fast as possible.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इंटरिम ऑर्डर पास किया है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इंटरिम ऑर्डर अंतरिम आदेश पास किया है। All appointments of council and Waqf board have been stayed until the matter is heard. No appointment will be made to the Waqf council or to the Waqf board. उसके अलावा all existing Waqfs, all Waqfs including Waqfs by user which are notified, registered, gazetted, etc. will be protected and will not be their nature and character will not be changed while the matter is being heard. ये अंतरिम आदेश इंटरिम ऑर्डर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पास किया।
अंग्रेजी में बोलो
हिंदी में पहले
अभी आपने कोर्ट का सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया के साथ जो बेंच का ऑर्डर आपने सुन लिया। हमारे काउंसिल निजाम पाशा ने उस बात को रख दिया है। आइंदा फिर जब पेशी होगी हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे तो यही बात करेंगे और कुछ नहीं अभी जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने तो कह दिया है कि वक्फ बाय यूजर पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 12 में स्टे लगाया है और वक्फ बाय यूजर के डिलीशन पर स्टे लगाया है और साथ ही साथ कोई सेंट्रल वक्फ काउंसिल के बनाने पर स्टे लगाया गया है। स्टेट वक्फ बोर्ड के बनाने पर स्टे लगाया गया है।
पूरे आज के पहले क्योंकि कल सुप्रीम कोर्ट 3 डायरेक्शन देने वाला था लेकिन आप सेटिस्फाई है आज का जो फैसला उससे आप सही हैं सर? कितना आश्वस्त?
देखिए मैं जॉइंट वर्किंग कमेटी ऑफ पार्लियामेंट का मेंबर था। जितने अमेंडमेंट सरकार ने उसमें लाए थे हमने उसकी मुखालिफत की और हमने डाइसेंट रिपोर्ट दिया। पार्लियामेंट में भी मैंने उस पूरे बिल की मुखालिफत की। तो ये कहना कि मैं दूसरे बिल के प्रोविजंस को मान लूंगा ये सवाल पैदा नहीं होता। हम पूरे उस बिल को उस एक्ट को अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मानते हैं और ये आर्टिकल 25, आर्टिकल 26, 14 और 15 और 29 का ग्रेव वायलेशन है। ये हम पहले से ही बोल किया है और आज फिर आपके सामने रिपीट कर रहा हूँ। No. See. Let us be very careful. The Honorable Supreme Court, as rightly pointed out by my counsel, Mr. Nizam Pasha, the Supreme Court has said that the Central Waqf Council and the State Waqf Boards will not be constituted. Waqf by user cannot be deleted. Now, there are other provisions also which we as a party have come to the Honorable Supreme Court that calling it unconstitutional. Now, whenever it will be heard, our counsel, Mr. Nizam Pasha, on behalf of me, will be arguing it. As you know very well, that during the deliberations of the Joint Working Committee, I have given a Dyson report opposing all the amendments that were proposed by the government. And during the debate in the Parliament on the consideration or passing of that bill, I have opposed each and every amendment. I have called it unconstitutional. I still call this law as unconstitutional, as violating the fundamental rights of Article 14, 15, 25, 26 and 29. So our legal battle will continue to ensure that this act, against this act will continue. देखिए सवाल देखिए आपको पूरे उस कानून को समझने की जरूरत है। अब 5 साल का मुसलमान प्रैक्टिसिंग रहेगा। 5 साल तो रहेगा। अब उसको कौन डिसाइड करेगा? अब कोई महिला है उसको कौन डिसाइड करेगा? तो ऐसे कई उसमें जो अमेंडमेंट्स के जरिए लॉ बनाया गया है हम उसके आज भी मुखालिफत कर रहे हैं और कल भी अपोज करते रहेंगे और लीगली हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने चैलेंज किए। हम उसको उन तमाम चीजों को वायलेशन ऑफ द फंडामेंटल राइट्स मानते हैं। थैंक यू।
AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi saying that our legal battle will continue and we find it a violation of our constitutional rights. The next hearing on the matter is on 5th of May. But for now, the CGI, while hearing the matter, has asked the centre to at least stay certain sections of that bill. And there seems to be at least a status quo as far as Waqf Amendment Bill is concerned. In fact, more developments there on the matter with regards to how many petitions will be heard. The CGI said we only want 5. You select 5 and others will be treated as applications or disposed of. So only 5 writ petitions, no more writ petitions will be heard and be allowed to be heard in Supreme Court. That's the latest that is coming in on Waqf Amendment Bill. Sanjay Chadha, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, continues to be with us. Brijesh Pandey is also with me in the studio. Brijesh, on the political side of it first, does it look like to you early gains have been made by all those petitioners, including Asaduddin Owaisi?
Well, it looks like that only, because if you look at the fact that, the arguments which was put forth by Tushar Mehta, as the Solicitor General of India, went on to say that, that does your Lordship understand the kind of implications this will have if you order an interim stay. But the court rejected the contention or the argument which was made by the centre. And that is the reason why, after that, he gave an assurance. The court even asked him one thing, that, that there are states also which are involved in this. So he said that any new appointment, if at all has been made, it will be considered null and void. No new appointments or no new board will be constituted till the government files its reply. So I think, till 5th of May, when this comes up for next hearing, I think no new appointments, no new board members, no new boards are going to be notified. So yes, Asaduddin Owaisi and the other petitioners can claim, it's early days, they want the entire act to be stayed. But if you kind of, go by the kind of observations which the Chief Justice said yesterday and today, he agreed with, that there are certain provisions which are, which are glaring and egregious. But he said that it's not like, that the entire act is bad. So they're like, he's sending away. Certain sections are bad. It gives draconian power. It also, makes the other side be at the receiving end of the bureaucracy and things like that. So I think it's a mixed bag judgment. But yeah, if you go by what has happened in the court, then yes, it'll be next, very interesting next 1 week for the government of the kind of reply they submit and the rejoinder which is to be submitted by the petitioner. All
right. So that would be 5th of May. Sanjay Chadha, what's likely to transpire on 5th of May? So far, Centre says that we will not de-notify Waqf by deed or Waqf by user till the next hearing. But next hearing onward is perhaps when we can see day-to-day hearing. That is what, the Centre is also demanding, a day-to-day hearing in the matter. What is likely to transpire?
Well, if it is a day-to-day hearing and as I just said, that there is a status quo, 1 or 2 points which we just mentioned, I'm not repeating it, that in all probability will continue till the final disposal. It is not that by next date those orders will be taken away and till 5th it will be there, on 6th onwards they can do anything or the other side can do anything. No. What I feel, because on that day, 5th, if the case prolongs and the next date is given, the court will also simultaneously pass an order wherein the court will say that stay qua these 1 or 2, 3, 4 points will continue till the next date. So this is a very common practice. I think there will be no, it is going to be there like that. And on that onwards, right. as far as the case is concerned, I think within a week, the government will file its reply. State governments will also be given the opportunity to file the reply, and thereafter the 5 chosen petitions. Now the question is there were 73 petitions on the day 1, and out of those 73 petitions, now only 5 will be taken.
Right.
The rest will be taken as adjudicated and or can be taken as application attached with the main. So I think those 5 petitioners will have to file their reply to the government's reply. So this is what is going to happen.
Sanjay
now, more
Chadha,
of a
stay with us.
procedural things will happen.
Right. Stay with us. My colleague Deepak Badhana is also speaking to a lawyer. Let's cut across to him. All right. We've lost the feed on that. But on one update that is coming in, and that is the centre has now assured that no non-Muslims will be appointed to Waqf board. That assurance, Sanjay Chadha, is that also interim, or is that a change that we can likely see in the law going forward?
In the initial, as far as my understanding goes, what the court has said, no appointment, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, is the second thing. So there will be no appointment till the further order. So I don't think
interim
there is,
then.
Yeah, all of these, as Mr. Chadha is very rightly pointing out, all of these are procedurals, and it's like, that the government has accepted, the Solicitor General has given his word to the Supreme Court, and that is the reason why the court did not pass any order, interim stay or order, because he has assured that no new action will be taken as per the Act, and, we will not take it till the next date, which is 5th of May. If the court feels that the government still intends to go ahead with it and will take a decision immediately the next day or something to that effect, then the court may put an interim stay, or saying that, that there's a stay till the decision or till the petitions are disposed of. If the government conveys that we will not do it, then
one of the petitioners, Amanatullah Khan, is also speaking. Listen in.
कि आज हमें यहाँ इंसाफ मिला, हम तमाम वकीलों का, जो वकील भी पेश हुए, हमारे वकील और तमाम सीनियर वकील, सारे वकील पेश हुए, उन तमाम वकीलों का हम शुक्रगुजार हैं, और हमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट से यही उम्मीद थी कि फैसला हमारे हक में आएगा। जिस तरह से आज केंद्र सरकार के वकील ने कहा, कल जो जज साहब ने बात कही थी कि हम जो वक्फ बाय यूजर प्रॉपर्टी हैं, इनके साथ कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे, रजिस्ट्रेशन में किसी किस्म का कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे, और जो वक्फ बोर्ड जो बनाएंगे उसमें किसी मेंबर को ना ऐड करेंगे, ना ही कोई मेंबर हम बनाएंगे, ना ही कोई वक्फ बोर्ड जो है हम फॉर्म करेंगे। तो 8 दिन का 28 तारीख को नेक्स्ट हियरिंग है। उसके बाद 5 दिन हम लोगों को जवाब दाखिल करना है। 5 पिटीशन लीड रहेंगी, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5। बाकी जो भी रिट है वो एज ए एप्लीकेशन ट्रीट की जाएगी। तो मैं फिर से तमाम उन वकीलों का जो हमारे लिए खड़े हुए, मुल्क को बचाने के लिए खड़े हुए, आपसी भाईचारे को बचाने के लिए खड़े हुए, ये जो आज सारे लीडिंग वकील थे, ये सारे हिंदू भाई थे, तो मैं इन तमाम का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं कि जिस तरह की राजनीति आज भाजपा इस मुल्क के अंदर कर रही है, नफरत पैदा कर रही है, भाइयों के अंदर झगड़े कराने की कोशिश कर रही है। और ये जो बिल अमेंडमेंट लेकर आए थे, इसका मकसद भी यही था कि वक्फ बाय यूजर जो जमीनें हैं, हर गांव में, हर जगह में, मस्जिदों में नमाजें रोकी जाएं, कब्रिस्तानों में दफीने रोके जाएं, और इसमें आपस में हिंदू भाई, मुसलमान भाई धर्म की बुनियाद पर झगड़ा करें। तो आज मैं तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार हूं सुप्रीम कोर्ट का और उन तमाम वकीलों का, और उन लोगों का जिन लोगों ने हमारा साथ दिया, दुआएं की हमारे लिए। अगर इसमें हियरिंग 28 को, यहां पर 28 अप्रैल को जवाब देना है, नोटिस किया है केंद्र को, और 5 मई को पहली हियरिंग है। जो इस केस की हियरिंग है वो 5 मई को है। 5 जो रिट हैं वो जो है लीड करेंगी। तो मैं आप तमाम मीडिया के भाइयों का भी शुक्रगुजार करना चाहूंगा कि आप सबने इसमें जिस तरह से हम तमाम लोगों का साथ दिया, वो तारीफ के काबिल है। शुक्रिया। देखिए, उस पे उनको मालूम था कि इसमें स्टे होने जा रहा है, तो उन्होंने खुद ही कहा कि हम इसमें कुछ करेंगे, तो एज ए स्टे ही ट्रीट होगा। बिल्कुल पूरी तरह से हम मुतमईन हैं। और बाकी चीजें जो हैं, जिस तरह से डीएम की पावर है, उस पर भी आने वाले वक्त में कि सारी पावर डीएम को दे दी है, और कोई दूसरे मजहब का आदमी या 5 साल जो प्रैक्टिसिंग नहीं है वो डोनेट नहीं कर सकता। तो आने वाले वक्त में इंशाअल्लाह उन पर भी फैसला होगा। और मुझे पूरी यकीन है कि वक्फ की तमाम जमीनें, वक्फ की तमाम मसाजिद, तमाम दरगाहें, तमाम कब्रिस्तान ऐसे ही महफूज रहेंगे जैसे पहले थे। बिल्कुल पूरी तरह से राहत है। और ये हिस्टोरिकल फैसला है, जैसी उम्मीद इस पूरे मुल्क की आवाम को थी वैसा ही ये फैसला है।
कोई अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं होगी, रोक लगाई है, एक तो नई नियुक्तियां नहीं होंगी, डिनोटिफाई नहीं किया जाएगा। क्या वो पुराने मामलों में डिनोटिफाई नहीं किया जाएगा या नए मामले में?
देखिए, किसी भी मामले में एज इट इज रहेगा। किसी भी मामले में जो भी वक्फ बाय यूजर है, नहीं, सब में वो क्लियर किया है।
कोई भी डिनोटिफिकेशन
बिल्कुल किसी तरह का कोई भी छेड़छाड़ नहीं होगी, जैसे चल रहा था। हाँ, एक वो उन्होंने खुद आप रिकॉर्ड पर अपना जवाब वो देकर गए हैं। ऐसे स्टे ही है, स्टे की तरह ये बहुत बड़ी।
AIMPLB Amanatullah Khan, one of the writ petitioners and lead petitioners in the case, talking about the relief that they seem to have got in the interim from the Supreme Court. There seems to be a status quo as far as the Waqf Amendment Bill Act of 2025 is concerned. Sanjay Chadha continues to be with us. Sanjay, one line of confusion that is emerging, and from the questions that were being posed to Amanatullah Khan, as well as what a previous lawyer, Barun Kumar Sinha, has said. He said, and I quote, while the Waqf by user registered and gazetted properties cannot be denotified, the government is free to take action on other properties. Does that mean only 3 to 4 provisions have been stayed and the others can be implemented? Sanjay Chadha?
Question to me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes, basically what I feel is that broadly these were the important issues, and on the other hand, the government will be cautious enough to not to take any move. I am very sure about it, because once the matter is sub judice, the court is looking into the crucial issues which have been challenged before the court, and court has given certain the vibe of the court which was coming was this, that there should be no action per se here. We should be slow on our actions. So the government will be playing cautious, and there will be, I don't think there will be any action till the next date of hearing. This is what I feel.
All right. Unlikely for government to take an action, given that it seems to be on back foot from what transpired in the court yesterday. Petitioners are seeing this as a relief for them. So unlikely, at least up until 5th of May, which is the next date of hearing, will there be any action on Waqf?
Doesn't look like, because one thing is very clear, that also during the course of argument, the court, the Chief Justice said to Tushar Mehta that saying that, but yesterday you were saying that, we can start it from today. And the vibe, as very wisely used by Mr. Chadha, the vibe of the Chief Justice of India's argument were very, very clear, that if he repeats that line which he said yesterday, the court might go ahead and pass an interim stay. And as I said, if the court passes an interim stay, it will be politically, it will put the government or portray the government in a politically bad light. And that is the reason he immediately, say like, Your Lordship, you are not aware of the consequences of your act and all. But he assured also simultaneously that no new action will take. I think the government will not be will not act in haste.
Won't be prudent at all.
It should, and I don't see them doing any kind of action, because then the petitioners are at a liberty, and the judge will be under pressure to put everything on order, to make sure that there is no misinterpretation or mischievous wordplay or analyzing any particular statement and picking out what suits you. So the government, I don't think will want to do any such thing till the next petition, which will clarify the position further. And when this is not the end, I think this is just start of a big long legal battle. And the government is saying that we want it to be done day by day. We have to see, and we'll have to wait and see how what the court thinks of it. But I think it's going to be a long legal haul, and I think until and unless the case is disposed of, I don't think the government is also going to act in haste, because a stay or an interim stay on a key proviso of the new act is something which will put the government on the back foot, and that is one issue which the government would not like to happen.
All right. Ashish Pandey, Advocate, Supreme Court, also joining us on the show. Ashish, how do you read the developments in the court today? Petitioners, of course, reading it as a victory, although interim.
I mean, co-panelist has perfectly summarized it. It's going to be a very long haul, very long drawn legal battle. So at this interim stage, you see, one of the panelists was talking about comments made by the Honorable Chief Justice of India. He categorically said that there are certain infirmities in the act, and then there are certain positive things. So they don't want to give any impression, especially at this interim stage, which may not sound good for the government. But at the same time, they don't want to give any impression that whatever has been passed by the legislature is perfectly in line with the constitutional scheme of things. So I think today's order, 7 days time is given to the government. We should wait for the 7 days time, and then we'll see what kind of response government is filing, and then if there is any interim order.
7 days time, of course. As far as the posturing of the petitioners, including Amanatullah Khan as well as Asaduddin Owaisi is concerned, they're clear they want this act to be declared unconstitutional. But we heard CJI saying that certain sections may be egregious, but doesn't mean the entire act is bad.
Right. You see, there were infirmities in the previous act as well, like the status before the passing of the present amendment. So we cannot say whatever has been passed by the parliament, especially being a lawyer, I personally support the line of thinking that a judicial recourse must be available in all conditions. We see that what was happening when a property has been declared as a Waqf property, and then there was no scope for any judicial scrutiny. So if this new amendment has brought certain changes to that effect, we cannot say that these changes are unconstitutional. In fact, contrary to this line of argument, I would say the previous provisions were not constitutionally in line with the thinking. But after the amendment, the new act is much more constitutionally correct. At least certain parts are.
Should you be saying that as an advocate for a case which is sub judice? Should you be saying it is constitutional or not? Is that not for the court to decide?
That's why I said I personally think that in every case a judicial recourse must be available. So personally, I'll toe the line. If an opportunity is given to an aggrieved party, if his property has been declared as a Waqf property, so that person should be given an opportunity to go to the court. And if the new acts have got an amendment to the effect that the petitioner, that the aggrieved party has 90 days time to approach the High Court, it's a welcome step. But then there are certain things like how the non-Muslims will be appointed vis-a-vis different bodies which have been proposed under this new amendment. So these things have to be tested on the constitutional line of thinking. But you see, I'd like to make a comment, please understand. When we talk about freedom of religion and the constitutional protections, so you see, every religion has two aspects. One is the core religious principles, and then there are secular aspects of the religious practice. So a state has a right to bring law regarding the regulation of those secular aspects. So if the secular aspects are not in contradiction with the religious practice of that particular religion, so we will have to see how the court is adjudicating upon all these points.
All right, and I believe in this case, petitioners saying, in fact, the law on secular aspect is in contravention with the religious aspect of the religion.
That is what,
right. That is what the petitioners are saying. Will, of course, court will have to interpret whether that's the case or not. Ashish Pandey, Sanjay Chadha, continue to stay with us. It's an important matter. We're discussing all the developments which are coming from the Supreme Court as of this afternoon. There is an interim status quo on the matter. The matter will be heard once again on 5th of May, which is in about a couple of days' time from now. By 28th of April, the centre will have to respond on all the questions posed by the CJI as of this afternoon. A time now for a very short break. We'll be back with more news and updates on the other side. You're watching News 9.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
I need expert performance. I need my career.
Smash your way to glory at the News 9 Corporate Badminton Championship. Get ready for the ultimate badminton showdown. News 9 presents the biggest corporate championship, a battle of skill, speed and supremacy. Cash prize of 6 lakh rupees across categories. Venue, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Hyderabad. Dates, May 9th to May 11th. A chance to showcase your talent and make a mark. The court is set. Are you ready? Register now.
Bharat welcomes the world to a new era of creativity. Waves, World Audio Visual and Entertainment Summit. Connecting creators through Creative Sphere. Wave Accelerator. Waves Bazaar.
Where stories, ideas and content go global.
Connecting countries through global media dialogue and Bharat Pavilion.
Shaping narratives and partnerships. Culture, cinema, gaming. Waves fuels the next wave of entertainment.
Connecting creators, connecting countries. Waves 2025.
आपके वक़्फ़ में एक भी नॉन मुस्लिम नहीं आएगा.
Waqf bill was passed by Rajya Sabha. Opposition parties had challenged the legislation in the Supreme Court. Can Mohammad Yunus be trusted because he met Prime Minister Modi? West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met thousands of teachers and educators. Tharoor said that it took 21 months for Bharatiya Janata Party to impose president rule in the state.
In the age of OTT platforms, to watch or not to watch, that's the question. Because you are what you watch. It's our review, but your choice to skip it or stream it. Hello and welcome. I'm Krishna Kumar. This is Skip It, Stream It.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
Hello and welcome. You are watching News9. I'm Krishna Kumar. The big story that we're tracking at this hour: the Supreme Court of India resumed its hearing on petitions filed against the Waqf law. During that hearing, the Apex Court refused to grant an interim stay on the Waqf Amendment Act of 2025, but directed that there should be no alteration in the character of any Waqf property, including those registered or declared under the practice of Waqf by user. The court has ordered that all Waqf properties, regardless of how they were classified, must be preserved in their current state until the next hearing. It also directed that no new appointments be made to any Waqf board during this period. The centre has been given 7 days to file its preliminary response along with relevant documents. The centre has assured that the key provisions of the Waqf Amendment Act of 2025, including the inclusion of non-Muslims in the Central Waqf Council and Waqf boards, and provisions on denotifying properties declared as Waqf by courts, will not be acted upon for the time being. Let's first listen to all the reactions coming in.
See, I don't want to predict what Supreme Court is going to pass an order about, but I would say that unless this entire 2025 Act is stayed in toto, no relief is going to be no relief is going to be enough to stop the mischief for which this Act has been brought. That is my understanding as a student of Waqf law. I am against that act. It is an act which is been enacted solely to usurp all the Waqf lands by hook or crook. There is no other motive of this new act. That is what my opinion is.
Sir, are you also representing any client in the Waqf?
Not yet, because I think the time is not ripe. I think one has to prepare before coming to courts. I think people have not prepared enough. They have rushed to the courts, and let's see what happens. But we are preparing our strategy. We are preparing a mass scale peaceful protest. We are collecting evidence. Then we will come up with substantial petitions in a manner which will lead to success rather than failing again and again.
माननीय अदालत ने कहा कि जो वक्फ व यूजर है, जो रजिस्टर्ड हैं और गैजेटेड हैं, उसको गवर्नमेंट डी नोटिफाई नहीं करेगी टिल द नेक्स्ट डेट. तो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि जो रजिस्टर्ड एंड गैजेटेड हैं वही सिर्फ डीनोटिफाई नहीं होंगे, उसके अलावा संशोधन के हिसाब से सरकार कार्रवाई करने को स्वतंत्र है और जो संशोधित कानून है उस पर किसी भी तरह का अंतरिम आदेश नहीं है और अगली तारीख तक भारत सरकार को अपना जवाब और उनको जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स देने हैं वो देने होंगे।
The Supreme Court has said that the Central Waqf Council and the State Waqf Boards will not be constituted. Waqf by user cannot be deleted. Now there are other provisions also which we as a party have come to the Honorable Supreme Court that calling it unconstitutional. Now whenever it will be heard, our counsel Mr. Nizam Pasha on behalf of me will be arguing it. As you know very well that during the deliberations of the Joint Working Committee, I have given a Dyson report opposing all the amendments that were proposed by the government. And during the debate in the Parliament on the consideration or passing of that bill, I have opposed each and every amendment. I have called it unconstitutional. I still call this law as unconstitutional, as violating the fundamental rights of Article 14, 15, 25, 26 and 29. So our legal battle will come to ensure that this act, against this act will continue.
कि आज हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट का तमाम जजेस का तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आज हमें यहाँ इंसाफ मिला। हम तमाम वकीलों का, जो वकील भी पेश हुए, हमारे वकील और तमाम सीनियर वकील, वो सारे वकील पेश हुए, उन तमाम वकीलों का हम शुक्रगुजार हैं। और हमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट से यही उम्मीद थी कि फैसला हमारे हक में आएगा। जिस तरह से आज केंद्र सरकार के वकील ने कहा, कल जो जज साहब ने बात कही थी कि हम जो वक्फ बाय यूजर प्रॉपर्टी हैं इनके साथ कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे, रजिस्ट्रेशन में किसी किस्म का कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे, और जो वक्फ बोर्ड जो बनाएंगे उसमें किसी मेंबर को ना ऐड करेंगे, ना ही कोई मेंबर हम बनाएंगे, ना ही कोई वक्फ बोर्ड जो है हम फॉर्म करेंगे। तो 8 दिन का 28 तारीख को नेक्स्ट हियरिंग है। उसके बाद 5 दिन हम लोगों को जवाब दाखिल करना है। 5 पिटीशन लीड रहेंगी, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5। बाकी जो भी रिट है वो एज ए एप्लीकेशन ट्रीट की जाएगी। तो मैं फिर से तमाम उन वकीलों का जो हमारे लिए खड़े हुए, मुल्क को बचाने के लिए खड़े हुए, आपसी भाईचारे को बचाने के लिए खड़े हुए, ये जो आज सारे लीडिंग वकील थे, ये सारे हिंदू भाई थे। तो मैं इन तमाम का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं कि जिस तरह की राजनीति आज भाजपा इस मुल्क के अंदर कर रही है, नफरत पैदा कर रही है, भाइयों के अंदर झगड़े कराने की कोशिश कर रही है। और ये जो बिल अमेंडमेंट लेकर आए थे, इसका मकसद भी यही था कि वक्फ बाय यूजर जो जमीनें हैं, हर गांव में, हर जगह में, मस्जिदों में नमाजें रोकी जाएं, कब्रिस्तानों में दफीने रोके जाएं, और इसमें आपस में हिंदू भाई, मुसलमान भाई धर्म की बुनियाद पर झगड़ा करें।
And now we have my colleague Brijesh Pandey joining us here in the studio. We also have Sanjay Chadha, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, and Ashish Pandey, Advocate of the Supreme Court, joining us on this broadcast. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us here on News9. Brijesh, let me begin by asking you a simple question. It is that, a small difference between a stay on the act or the bill and a hold. Because even before a stay could come, there was a request that there was an offer to hold it.
Well, I think, if there was an interim stay per se, it would have been a more embarrassing by the government. And the government also felt, what was in the mind of this Chief Justice of India.
Right.
And as Mr. Chadha said, the vibes of the Supreme Court were very, very clear to the government. And that is the reason why, even before the Chief Justice could say something or decide on granting interim stay or something to the effect,
right,
he said that the government itself promises that, for the next, till the next date date of hearing, the government is not going to enact key provisions, and there's going to be no alteration as far as whether it's Waqf by land or Waqf by deed, or appointing non-Muslim members as ex-officio members in the board, or many other provisions. So basically, the stay is there. The government has basically assured the court that we are not going to move forward till the next date of hearing. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is the response of the government as far as to buttress home their point about why there should be